I'm taking a walk right now, trying to take care of myself. ADIPA Speak Up. ADIPA Speak Up is a YouTube channel that I started. I started the YouTube channel, I think in 2014. Now, ADIPA Speak Up, ADIPA Speak Up is ADIPA Speak Up is one of the channels that I started actually in 2012. That's when I started ADIPA Speak Up. ADIPA Speak Up just means Auguste domestic intimate partner abuse. It was meant to help women who are going through domestic abuse. ADIPA Speak Up is supposed to help women or to educate or to inform women and men, let me put it like that, because men go through domestic violence. When I started ADIPA Speak Up, originally it was meant to be to help people in Kenya. ADIPA Speak Up was supposed to help women who are going through domestic violence in Kenya, and women who are going through Kenyan women or African women that were going through domestic violence in America. Mainly because I personally went through domestic violence, and because I survived it, I took it upon myself to help others. You know, in America, when people come, when us Kenyans, we come to America, we, as a woman, we come here and we don't realize the rights that we have in America. In Kenya, they have rights too now, you know, but the problem is there can be rights, but are the people who are supposed to be hearing it? Because the rights can be available, but unless people are talking about it, unless people are educated about it, unless people are informed about it, the rights will sit there written and nobody even knows it. So the importance of talking, educating, informing, speaking about domestic violence and other issues that affect women is there. We need to shout as loud as we can about domestic violence. There's a lot of organizations, foreign organizations, Kenyan organizations that are fighting. But the intimidation that the people who are not caring about it is so loud that the voices of the people who should be hearing about domestic violence and issues that are affecting women is actually low. It's like the person who shouts the loudest, the person who has the money, their view will be heard. The view of the people who are suffering down here sometimes is not heard because they don't have the money. They don't go to the media. They don't know how to shout. They're intimidated by their local chiefs. They're intimidated by their rich relatives. You know, the good thing about America is that there's no intimidation. If you're being abused, you will be helped. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you can afford a lawyer. You will still be helped. That's the good thing about America. In Kenya, it's different. Sometimes you have to just shout. Maybe the media will hear you and help you. Or maybe if you have money or if a non-profit organization helps you, you can be helped. But it is sad that people who need the help don't even have access to money to help them. But anyways, I'm walking, that's why you hear me breathing. I was telling you a little bit about ADIPA Speak Up. I'm on YouTube. I really haven't pushed my YouTube because in between starting the ADIPA Speak Up, I started other stuff. So I'm on and off, but trying to push it now so we can have an avenue to speak, and especially for immigrant women in America. There's a lot of girls that are coming to the United States now. Online has opened up the doorways for anybody, even in the village, to come abroad, to find a mzungu, to find a white man or a foreigner in another country and come to America and be married. But a lot of them don't realize that even though I'm happy for anybody who's finding a husband, anybody, more power to them. Actually, I want you guys to find your mzungu and come, but I want you also to know that you have a right. The mzungu has the, I want you guys to find your mzungu and come, but I want you also to know that you have a right. The mzungu has the money, so you have to realize that even though the mzungu has the money, you have a right. Even though he brought you to this country, you have a right. Even though he paid for your ticket, you have a right. Even if he did everything for you. I want our young girls who are coming abroad or who are abroad to realize that the mzungu that's bringing you here can easily kill you. The mzungu that's bringing here can easily make you disappear. The mzungu that is bringing you here can abuse you. The mzungu may say they love you. Not only the mzungu, even the Kenyan man that's bringing you to the United States will control you, will abuse you. So my job is to educate you to be careful. Nataka ujipange. I want you to jipanga. I want you to realize that you have rights. I want you to realize that it is okay to be careful. And the first carefulness that you start is that, first of all, do not come to this country secretly without letting your family know or anybody else know. You know, with a foreigner. Make sure you double check that foreigner. Google has free apps that you can just type that person's name to find out if he has any records. You might spend a little money, but it is better safe than sorry. The mzungu man that's bringing you here abroad, I'm not able to read comments in case there's any comments because I'm actually walking, so I can't. So the mzungu who is bringing you here can actually, see, the mzungu who is bringing you here can actually abuse you. A lot of girls have found themselves in very bad places. A mzungu, they find a mzungu online, they don't check on that mzungu. That mzungu is a child molester. When they come here, they come with their child, the mzungu is aiming to molest their child. Then another thing is that they get a mzungu who is abusive. They get to Europe or they get to America and the mzungu is abusing them. Or even the African. By the way, most Africans who have been abusers here in America have gone back home and married somebody. More power to them if they did good. But I want the girls to realize that you might be getting married to an abuser. So you have to check that man's history. And where there's a red flag, you better be aware. Now, how do you become careful? Do a background check. If you can't do a background check, let people know where you are. And know where you can get help if you need help. Because these wazungus, they're bringing people and they bring you here to America, and some of them live in the farm. So if they live in the farm, you're away from everybody. Nobody knows where you are. He's abusing you. Huh? He's putting you in sex trafficking. Unaanza kulala na watu. They put you in very weird things. Unalala na maumbo, unafanya nini. And you can't tell anybody because they have control of your finances. Finance is one of the things that the abusers use to control the women. So he has brought you to this country. He's the one who's filing for you papers. He'll use that. I want you to know that if umeletwa hapa and you're married to somebody, legally, Mkenya, Jeshi, Mkenya Mjeshi, if you're married to Mzungu, if you're married to, as long as amekumari, even if he amekuleta hapa and he only has a green card, there's a law that protects you here in America. You can leave him and still get your papers. They will not go to him and ask him what happened. You can get papers. If your husband has brought you to America and he's abusing you, there's a law that protects you. There's a law that will make sure that you get your green card. A lot of men who bring wives here, you know, there's a law called VAWA. What is the history of VAWA? Unajua VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act, was passed. I think the first one was in 96 or 94, you know. With Joe Biden, they're the ones who pioneered that. And what happened was, how Waindi, walikuwa, they were bringing, Waindi, wa China, wa Africa, the men were bringing their wives. Because, you know, a long time ago, to get a green card, you had to get a green card through job. And you know, in these third world countries, the women didn't have very big jobs. So their jobs couldn't bring them abroad. So they piggybacked with their husbands. So it was only the guys who were coming. Even in Mexico, the guys would get a green card, then the wife comes with the husband's green card. What they realized is like the men were using that green card they brought their wives with to control them. Wakifika hapa, Mimi, I brought you here. The wife works. Them, they don't want to work. The wife has to give them check. The wife is stuck. If she complains, she's told, I'll return you to Kenya. I'll not finish your green card. So you find there was a lot of women who were just stuck in the system because their husband would go and stop their green card process. Guess what? That's when they decided on this VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. Wakasema, this is unfair. We need to make this fair to the women. So, waka decide, if you come to America with green card, ya bwana yako, or if your bwana files for you green card, as long as you can prove that this was a genuine marriage, genuine, remember? Meaning you have to show pictures, marusi, my letters. That's why those letters you're writing with your mzungu, those letters are important. Keep those letters, they'll help you one day. So, showing that this mzungu was genuinely, because they end up saying this was a fake marriage. So where you can prove that, you have to prove that this marriage was genuine. Unaona? So, you could prove that the marriage was genuine. Also, they'll make sure hauna record mbaya, vitu kama hizo. And then you can self-petition. When do you unaweza petition for yourself without him? You will not be asked. He will not be a witness. Hata ukienda kusema amekuabuse, utakuwa witness kwa hizo court cases. They'll protect you. Inaitwa Violence Against Women's Act. So if your husband is abusing you and you're here in the United States, there's a law that protects you. If your sister's husband is abusing them, na wameoana genuinely. So if you're watching and I'm not reading any comments because I'm not even caring if anybody's watching. I just want to educate. I'll take some snapshots of this and share it on my on 60-second videos, and then maybe advertise it. But let me continue. So if your husband is abusing you, you know a relative whose husband is abusing them, wamemleta hapa, they're using that to control them. Tell them there's a law that protects them. They can file for green card. They can get a lawyer. If they cannot afford a lawyer, there's lawyers that are pro bono, that they just have to get to the right place. I think the national hotline for domestic violence is 1-800-799-7233. If they call that number from anywhere in the United States, they will get help. They'll find them a place to go if they need a place. They'll find them resources to help them with domestic violence issues. Hata ukiwa na watoto wako shuleni, they'll find them a school. Do not worry, there is help. This is something that hata kama umekaa Kenya, if you're in Kenya, living in Kenya, you can help your sister who is abroad. Even in Europe, there are laws that are there to protect women. But the women don't know. How will they know about these laws if we don't tell them? If we don't speak about these laws? If we assume that people in Kenya, we shouldn't teach them about Violence Against Women's Act. Well, these people in Kenya are the ones who have relatives, and their relatives will help them. So that is what I wanted to talk about. ADIPA educates women about domestic violence. On those videos I have talked about myself, if you go on YouTube, most of them is stories about me, maybe stories about people who I helped. I don't mention names, and I also did get their permission to talk. So I'm okay with that. Just go watch ADIPA Speak Up on YouTube, follow me. I think I've already reached enough number to be going live. I can go live on ADIPA Speak Up because I think I've reached the correct YouTube numbers to be able to go live on YouTube. But anyways, wacha mimi niendelee kutembea. Niko na jasho hapa kabisa. Unaona?